My name's Donato and welcome to today's video where I'll be talking to you about the #1 recovery hack. Yeah, let's go. Oh yes, welcome one and all. My name is Donato and welcome to my channel. And before I get into the #1 recovery hack, which has been inspired by this book I've been reading, and I interviewed the author of this, Christie Aschwanden, and if you look in the link below you'll see the link to the podcast that I had interviewing her about the book and the recovery and all this type of stuff. And as I say, before I go into that, and this is all part of the new series that I had, the Recovery Diaries, yes, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to each and every one of you guys, as it's ironic that I am now recovering from surgery. So the recovery I'm talking about, that I'll be talking about in this series, is not about surgery recovery, which, as you've seen on that last video that I posted at the weekend, I managed to do a 20-minute park run. Didn't push it too hard. I did push it, but not too hard. I'm listening to my body, like everybody says. We need to listen to our bodies. Just 3 weeks, to think 3 weeks that day, within a few hours. Was it a few hours? Yeah, so the park run was 9 AM. Surgery would have been completed by midday. So give or take 3 hours of coming out of surgery. That was my first timed 5K, and it felt good. Yeah, and I've got to say, as I said, a big thank you to each and every one of you guys who left some amazing comments, and for some of you who are inspired to go out and do a park run and maybe get a bit quicker, because it's such fun, isn't it? Running fast. I do love running fast, so I'm getting up there, getting up to those speeds. But yes, thank you all so much. And if you are new here, please do consider subscribing. Click on that link somewhere around wherever it is, click on subscribe, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends, because I do love talking about running as well as running and drinking tea, of course. Yeah. So yes guys, you're probably thinking, what is the #1 hack? It's a word that I don't really like using, but it seems to be popularized, and people are looking for hacks, shortcuts, ways of doing stuff quicker, faster, and all that thing. And again, the other week I posted, what was it, the couch potato to marathon in 12 weeks running marathon, which was utter nonsense really. Although I have seen now on social media where people are posting, apparently they're doing from couch to marathon in 8 weeks. I saw someone post, but no, knowing them and the post is they weren't a couch potato from 8 weeks before the marathon. They had been doing some form of sports, but yeah, hacks, it's not a word I like, and it's more, as I said, there are no shortcuts, and this particular one is the #1 recovery. And it's not just for runners. If you've arrived at this and you're not a runner, this applies to you as well. Runners, non-runners, and everybody. And do we all know what that #1 recovery tip is? Well, yeah, it's sleep. Sleep. We need lots of sleep. In this book that I've mentioned, yeah, Christie has done the research, and all the top elite athletes, a lot of them sleep. I've got to bear in mind, put things into perspective. Elite athletes, a lot of these professional athletes, that's what they do, that's their job. So for a lot of us, you and me, we have day jobs, and we've got to fit in our sleeping around our day jobs and our training and so on. These guys, the sleep that they get is quite astonishing. For some people, they tend to sleep around 10 hours. Yeah, but in addition to that, they also nap for a couple of hours in the day. So you're looking at like 12 hours. 12 hours. But then the way that they're training and working hard is right up there. So yes, we need good amounts of sleep. And only the other week when I was speaking with Lisa Thompson, ultra marathon runner, and she mentioned that during the race where she was up in Scotland, she'd managed to get just over 100 miles but had to pull out. And she said one of the things she attributed to of having to pull out at that race, I think it was over 200 miles away, so she got over halfway but just couldn't go any further. And she said with the 2 weeks before, it was her lack of sleep. And it's understandable sometimes with the jobs that we have and the stresses and strains and families and so on and so forth. Getting sleep can be the number one most difficult thing to get, but it's the number one thing that is totally free. We don't need to drink any supplements or any special teas. We don't need to eat this, drink that. Sleeping is totally free, yeah. And I can only use myself as an example. I'm not here as a sleep coach, sleep specialist. I'm not going to teach you how to sleep more or sleep better. But what works for me is literally just getting into a pattern. And having had some children, they're all fully grown and whatever, is for those of you who are young parents and have got infants, babies who are just beginning to get into a sleep pattern, there was a particular pattern that I'd learnt somewhere is how to help children get into sleep, because we want them to sleep through the night so that we can get a good sleep as the parent, yeah? So I've found is using a pattern, and patterns, things like eating at a particular time, you know, not eating just before going to sleep. That's almost a no-no. So, you know, feeding the child before we know they're going to start the sleep pattern, yeah, rather than immediately before. Having a bath or hot shower, yeah, getting the muscles relaxed. Having a read of a book, yeah, oh, here's a book. Having a read of a book, basically getting into a relaxation mode, not watching TV. If I had my phone here, no blue screens, no laptops, none of that, not watching TV. Watching TV just before we go to bed is not a good idea either. So I'm literally just throwing out things that work for me. So whatever pattern I've worked, wherever I've worked, different hours, different shifts, I look to aim to get around 8 hours sleep. And sometimes that involves going to bed early. If I'm up early for a training run at 4 or 5 a.m, that means getting to bed at around 8 p.m. And that might sound early for some people, that might sound late for others, but it depends what the work patterns are, because I needed to get into work for 6:30. That was my pattern, and that's what worked for me. So do what works for you, but I always say is break the day out, the 24-hour day, fit in the slots that you need in terms of what the work that you're doing or job, childcare, children, family, friends, going out, and then see where you can fit in a good slot to sleep. Now for some people they put their slot of where they sleep literally around the work, and then everything else has to fit in around it. Just do what works for you. But there is it really, the number one recovery that's free to everybody is sleep. So what are your thoughts on this, guys? And my question of the day is, what tips do you have to help you get a better night's sleep, or a day's sleep, depending if you work in night shift, yeah? But what is the number one tip that you have, or tips to help people to sleep? So yes, that's me done. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you found this useful in some way, and read the comments below, the hints and tips that people are giving in terms of helping with our sleep patterns. So thank you all so much. Hopefully this video didn't send you to sleep, but if it did, you can use this video to help you to sleep. Yeah, that's right. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you at the next video. And onwards and upwards, as we say. Let's keep going. And thank you all so much for the positive support and help. Love you all. Bye.